Let's be real for a sec. Gukesh isn't the fastest, strongest, or even the most intuitive chess player. That title belongs to this guy. We already knew that. But what's surprising is that Gukesh doesn't even make the cut among other top players. Yet, in a loaded 2024 candidates tournament, where everyone expected these guys to win, Gukesh came out on top. And to cap it off, he ended up beating Ding Liren to claim the title as the youngest chess world champion in history. And it's not even close. In what may be one of the greatest underdog stories in chess history, Gukesh has already created a legacy, and he's just getting started. But if it isn't speed or intuition, what even makes Gukesh so good? But before I reveal the answer, feel free to take a guess in the comments. And while you're there, you might as well hit the subscribe button so we can get to 1K. Now that you've locked in your guess, the answer is calculation. As simple as that. Now I know what you're thinking. Yes, I'm aware that I've been hyping up Gukesh a little too much so far. But more importantly, of course, doesn't the player who outcalculates their opponent always win? Isn't that obvious? Yes and no. Chess is more nuanced than that. There's more to the game like intuition, opening and positional mastery, playing on the clock. Usually the more skilled player for that particular position wins. If calculation is all it took, Hikaru would definitely have a few championship titles to his collection. But every player has a different style. Vichy was known for his speed and deep preparation. Magnus is known for his intuitiveness and endgame mastery. But it's different with Gukesh. Calculation is pretty much his only strength, and it shows. In more intuition-based time formats like Bullet and Rapid, any super grandmaster would be thrilled to see Gukesh as their opponent. In Classical, not so much. And for proof, just look at his rating across all the other formats. It's obvious that Gukesh doesn't thrive in low time formats where intuition precedes calculation. And some people have made note of this.
How about calculation versus intuition?
95-5 or something. Like, this is as extreme as you get for a top player, I would say.
But in a world where everyone tries to be like Magnus and play like an artist, having world-class calculation and calculating out every line doesn't hurt. In classical formats where players have a lot of time to think, Gukesh's strengths start to shine, which, convenient for him, is also the time format for the World Championship match. Even though Gukesh likely won't play the brilliant sacrifice which leads to a long-term advantage, and will likely never be able to replicate something like this.
Queen c2, king f3, bishop c6, king g3, bishop f4 takes, queen g2, rook d8, king g7, because queen f3 is mate. And if e6, you can go king h6. And if rook c8, queen f3, and king e5, and queen e4 is mate. At g5, you go queen g5, that's mate. I think it's all winning, right?
He doesn't need to. But the ability to calculate deep lines with precision enables him to play solid and never give his opponent any chance. His opponents know he'll likely outcalculate them if they get into sharp positions, so they're forced to change their game up against him. You may be surprised, but in classical formats, Gukesh actually has a higher win percentage than Magnus, and with a lot fewer games. But what makes calculation unique is that it can be applied in attacking and defensive positions. Take this game that Gukesh played in the 2024 candidates match against his young rival Alireza. As the game begins, we see that Gukesh plays the Roy Lopez and gets himself in an open position with a lot of attacking ideas. He also goes against conventional wisdom as he gives up control of the center here and starts moving his pieces backwards. He even goes crazy here and opens up his king, ignoring the literal first rule they teach beginners. But Gukesh gets a pass because first of all, he's better than you and me, and second, he trusts his calculations. Gukesh clearly sees lines and ideas that most of us can't comprehend. Like, even though Alireza has control of this kingside file, he can't generate any concrete attacks. Meanwhile, Gukesh can double up on the d file and really start to dominate in the center. Now, after these mandatory repeating moves, let's watch as Gukesh slowly strangles Alireza without giving him any counterplay. So, now it's final. Gukesh is the best player in the world, right? Well, he may be the current world champion, but if you asked any casual chess player who the best player is right now, they'd probably point to this guy. But to understand why Magnus is not the world champion, we need to go back to 2023, when he voluntarily gave up his title at the top of his game, because apparently he's not motivated to play another match, which is how you know he's the GOAT. But when Magnus recently said this about Gukesh,
it's hard to understate how bad this was from Gukesh. Like, he didn't make a single good decision basically the whole game. Like, everything was wrong.
Gukesh, he's generally not impressed me.
Gukesh let his chess do the talking and ended up beating Magnus in his home country. And again in Croatia, to which Magnus responded,
"This time I got soundly punished. I was pretty hopelessly lost. It was poor, but all credit to Gukesh. He's playing well and he's taking his chances too."
But whether or not you agree he's the best player in the world right now, Gukesh rightfully earned the title of world champion. And at only 19 years old, he still has his entire prime ahead of him. And if he keeps this up, who knows? How many championships can he win? Are we watching the start of potentially the greatest chess player of all time?